This is a DCC, or Digital Compact Cassette, and it was introduced by Philips in 1992 as a replacement for the regular cassette. An improvement over it. It was designed to be compatible. You see, it's the same size as a regular cassette. Only it does not have the bulges on the head area and on the sides that the regular cassette has. So that the player, here my Philips DCC 900, which was the first DCC player to be sold in stores, could play both. However, I placed the label on this user recordable DCC upside down because this is the way it is to be inserted into the player. And original pre-recorded DCCs were available back then. This one is an actual release from back in the day, and this one was the first one to be made since 1996. This one came out in 2017. The format had been discontinued in 1996 after just 4 years because its high price made so that very few people could afford it, and it also had a competition against Minidisc, and Minidisc won over them, except only in the Netherlands, which was Philips' country. And I have here a very rare sample tape that was made in advance of the introduction of the format for presentation in stores or at conventions. And why the Scotch tape at the top is because it was it did not contain the same album it was identified as. It was identified as Lisa Stansfield Affection, but it actually contained Bryan Adams' Waking Up the Neighbors. So what I did was I had to open up this plastic cover that and here I scanned the cover from the inlay from the analog cassette version, scaled it down to size, and inserted it where the original was, and added this on the side. And with the case, I had to ask for someone who had the original DCC to send me a scan of the back inlay, and here I go. And if I remove that from its case, then inside there I have this is what was there originally. This was the original back cover. And this is what was inside on the tape itself. And this was the booklet that came with it. Now, what I wanted to present was that this user DCC that came with my loaded inside my player, and where it was at, there was a huge there is a huge dropout that lasts for 10 seconds, and I wanted to show what it does to a DCC. So let's insert it in my machine. And we see gonna set display option to absolute time. Sorry, can only do it when it's playing. There, absolute time. And the area where the tape was that's affected by the dropout is in the middle of track 8 of side 1 and at the end of track 3 of side B. So let's go to track 8. There, it sends the start marker for the camera might not catch it, but the tape is indeed here's the beginning of track 8. Now let's switch to the other side and go back to the beginning of the current track. You have to press previous once, then next, so that it shows -0. And that's the beginning of track side B, track 4. Now return to side A, and you'll hear the huge dropout coming up pretty soon. And now if I go play the other side. See what happens. Yeah, so, but if I already have the track number loaded, it loses the track information after a few seconds of being unable to read. Now the Mozart tape has a different oddity. In that, side A being 4.5 minutes shorter than side B, they made it go differently. They made it cope with that side timing difference differently than an analog cassette. And see what happens. I have to press play directly. And it shows. They place the gap at the beginning instead of at the end as on a regular cassette. And so that if I go to the beginning of side B, which is now if the tape is at its end, then if the original tape is at its end, then here you'll see try to get to the beginning of the track. But the tape was made so that the side B ends, side B begins at the same location as side A ended. So here's the end of side A.